Tonight, an unbearable loss. Family and friends remember Stephanie Scott on what should have been her wedding day. Cricket fans from all over the world pause to remember a marvellous life. Changes in sight, why pensioners are being put on notice. Deadly tornadoes tear through the United States, leaving neighbourhoods in ruins. And the early report card, will Jared Hayne make it in the NFL?
This is 9 News with Georgie Gardner.
Good evening. Stephanie Scott should have spent today walking down the aisle, celebrating married life with her new husband, surrounded by those who loved her most. Instead, hundreds turned out to mourn the loss of the vibrant schoolteacher as police confirmed a woman's partially burnt body had been found.
Inconsolable on what should have been the happiest day of his life, Aaron Leeson-Woolley was due to marry his love, Stephanie Scott. Instead, he is surrounded by the LEETON community, devastated by the loss of his bride-to-be. The would-be groom, too distraught to speak, his best man did the talking.
We all love you, mate.
Today, Stephanie's family urged loved ones to remember her as a bubbly, bright and fun-loving girl.
Tragedies happen, we can't change that, we can't deal with it any better than we have, but we do know that we had a great girl and we're going to continue to remember her for what she was.
It'll be a year tomorrow that Stephanie was seen here at a wedding in LEETON. Smiling, dancing and having the time of her life with close friends. And Aaron, the man she adored. Last night, police confirmed the news that everyone was dreading but knew was coming. Officers on trail bikes made the heartbreaking discovery just hours earlier. A woman's body partially burnt in bushland on the side of a dirt road.
She was taken away from us for a short time, but now we've got her back and we'll restore her dignity.
The harrowing discovery ending days of searching.
We certainly believe that the remains are those of Stephanie.
Stephanie was last seen at LEETON High School at 11 a.m. on Sunday. She was there to prepare lessons her students would take in her absence ahead of her honeymoon in Tahiti. But what happened next is still a mystery. On Wednesday night, 24-year-old Vincent Stanford was arrested at his LEETON home after police allegedly discovered a photo of a partially burnt body on his phone and seized his ute. The following morning, he was charged with murder. That same day, Stephanie's car was found abandoned in a paddock near Griffith. As detectives continued their search, a breakthrough of sorts, with police locating a gasoline can and an iPad linked to LEETON High in a nearby irrigation channel. By late Friday, their hunt had turned to Kokopara National Park, about 70 kilometres from where she vanished. Instead of celebrating her wedding, the Scott family was today surrounded by her friends, colleagues, students, even strangers, to help celebrate her life.
Words can't express how I'm feeling today.
I've only ever said from the start that Steph was on the other side of nice. I can't explain it any other way. She was just the most beautiful person you'd ever meet.
All over town, businesses closed early, while children's sporting games were cancelled.
We're devastated for Steph and her family, for Aaron as well. Struggling to come to terms with it. And we'll battle on, but it's going to be a difficult road.
As a mayor, I've been very much involved, and I find it hard to cope.
Stephanie's death has been felt not only in LEETON but also in her hometown of Canowindra. All over Australia, women of all ages hung wedding dresses outside their homes to pay their respects. Online, her sister Kim posted her wedding speech, wishing Stephanie and Aaron all the happiness for the many years to come. May you fill each other with joy and never be glum. I'm sure you'd all agree that their bond is unique, special and happy. Their love is what we seek. Now, as police work to piece together exactly what happened that day, the community is rallying together and saying goodbye to one of their own.
Reporter Erin Willing joins us now from LEETON. And Erin, this investigation's far from over.
That's right, Georgie. While police are confident that the body they found is Stephanie Scott's, a formal identification is still yet to be made. It is expected that that will be done in the next 24 to 48 hours. And while police do continue to piece it all together, Stephanie is expected to be remembered in her hometown of Canowindra tomorrow with a special hot air balloon display in her honour. Georgie?
All right, Erin, thank you. Cricket fans in England have gathered at Lord's to mourn the passing of Richie Benaud. Richie spent countless hours in the commentary box in the UK alongside broadcasters who today paid tribute to their much-loved friend.
At the gates to England's hallowed turf at Lord's, bouquets of flowers and a handwritten note. Richie, a fair dinkum Aussie, you'll be missed, mate. Overlooking that famous pitch, Richie Benaud's portrait and his Australian team blazer. Tour groups stopped for a moment of quiet reflection.
He was obviously a legend. Everybody knows it. You know, what can you say about the man? He was cricket.
Staff at the ground feeling the loss on the other side of the world.
It's just sort of come as a shock. Got a text message from my brother back home at 3 in the morning. And then, I spent the next 3 hours just thinking about it.
And on the North Clock Tower, the flag has been lowered. It'll remain at half-mast here at Lord's, the home of cricket, until Richie Benaud is laid to rest. Richie was adored by Australian and English fans in equal measure. He was the voice of an endless summer, swapping the Australian winter for cricket in the Northern Hemisphere.
He's a guy that, it's inspired generations of people to want to play cricket. We're all going to miss him over here as much as in Australia.
To me, he was like the godfather of cricket. He was the Marlon Brando of cricket. He was just an amazing person. Everyone loved Richie. He was above the Prime Minister in Australia.
Richie's media career began in England, and when he pulled up stumps at the Oval in 2005, the crowd responded with a standing ovation.
People, I think, over here had listened to what Richie Benaud had to say, whether it was as a player or as a commentator, and why wouldn't you?
He was known not just in Australia, not just here in the UK, which is where he would have done, between the two countries, did most of his work, but everywhere where cricket is played.
One of the early things he said to me was that you're kind of like a guest in somebody's front room, really, for 6 hours of the day, so try not to irritate them.
In a sport rich with Australia-England rivalry, Richie had only love for the game, and the game has only love for him. In London, Lizzie Pearl, 9 News.
And you can watch a special tribute to Richie Benaud, A Marvellous Life, on 9 straight after the news. A man has died after crashing